Hello, I'm Kevin Grimes, CEO of Grimes and Company. I'm here for another installment of the Bitcoin Diaries. This is where we provide a service for long-term investors in Bitcoin to determine attractive or potentially attractive entry points for Bitcoin. This is not a trading service. This is really intended for people that are looking to accumulate this risky asset. Please read the disclosures at the end of this presentation. And remember that investing is risky, especially in a asset as volatile as Bitcoin. But there's a lot to talk about today. It's actually a pretty exciting day to be doing the Bitcoin Diaries. So today is April 17th. I'm reporting to you right after the close. It's about 4:13 in the afternoon. And a lot's gone on with Bitcoin in the last little bit. Some positive developments that I'm going to share with you. So remember what we're looking at some very traditional technical analysis indicators. Bitcoin is not something that is easy or that I even can find possible to value on a fundamental basis. So we use technical analysis. We use some studies that are very simple, out of the box studies that you can get from any charting software, things like trend lines and support and resistance levels and trading ranges and indicators like relative strength, RSI, which I'll discuss in a minute. And we also have several proprietary indicators. One is a trend indicator. It's a long-term process indicator that's looking to identify if trends are positive or negative and if they're strengthening or weakening. We also have a cycle indicator that helps us predict to some extent if Bitcoin might be at a turning point. So anyways, let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, so compared to other Bitcoin diaries, I've shifted the screen a little bit. I've zoomed in. This basically includes last year, so it basically starts at the beginning of 2025, and I am not showing the long-term uptrend that Bitcoin had been in for several years up until this early October point of last year. Instead, we're going to focus on what's been a nearly 7-month decline in Bitcoin and some evidence that things could be turning a bit. So we'll start with our top three studies. They're at the bottom of the screen here. So the first one, relative strength, relative the RSI score. RSI again is a very common indicator. It's been around for probably 50 years. It helps. Basically looks at price relative to recent highs and lows, and it helps determine if Bitcoin is generally positive or negative in the short run. It also helps determine if a security is overbought or oversold. So a reading of over 70 is, could be consistent with periods of time that, the price might have gone a little bit too far, too fast, and a price below 30 could indicate potentially some periods where security could be oversold. So it's a helpful indicator. Right now, Bitcoin actually has gone from a fairly low level to almost an overbought level in a very short period of time. So this is bullish. It's short-term bullish, approaching almost too much bullishness in the very short term, but a positive indicator to see it above that 60 level and actually approaching overbought territory. So we'll count that as a positive for RSI. The next score is our trend score. This is a proprietary score that we have. You can't get this from a charting tool. This is something we built at Grimes and Company. You can see that back here in late, or call it mid-October, Bitcoin actually entered negative territory for our trend score. It was declining really since the peak. And it's been in negative territory for the entire duration until today. So today is the first point where Bitcoin has moved above, up into positive territory for the trend score. And the trend score has been improving really for the last several weeks. So that is a very bullish development. Happy to see that. The next score down here is the cycle score. Nothing new this week, but really the most important thing is in the grand scheme, you can see that the cycle score had indicated a potential bottoming process. This is back in the early February timeframe, and really since then, it so far appears that maybe Bitcoin was bottoming at that point in time. So back then you had RSI at a very low level, indicating oversold. You obviously had very negative trends, but you had the cycle score indicating that it could be a potential bottom. So far so good there. And then another bullish development. Bitcoin's been in this distribution range since October of last year. The kind of these three lines, with the middle line being the mean or the average, and then two standard deviations above and two standard deviations below. Back here on April 8th, so about a week ago, Bitcoin did pop its head above this range, and it's continued since then, grinding higher to the point where we have also today, Bitcoin's poked above the high set back on March 17th. So we got a nice new high in this bottoming process. We've broken out of this trading range, which is kind of green arrow indicates here. And today we popped above that new high from March 17th. And again, we got a positive trend score. So all in, this bottoming process is looking good. I would expect it, some point there's going to be some consolidation, especially with RSI so high. But for long-term investors looking to accumulate Bitcoin, we're approaching some really healthy signs here. Hopefully things continue. Obviously, there's no way of knowing. So we've moved our overall score up to 6 on our scale of 1 to 7, 1 being the worst, 7 being the best. It's hard pressed to give 1s and 7s. It's kind of hard to earn those numbers. It'll happen. And 4 being neutral. We moved Bitcoin to positive, slightly positive back here, really when the March 17th highs were being established. We thought that was a nice bullish scenario. And indeed, Bitcoin since then had a higher low and now another higher high. And that's what it's all about, folks. Uptrends are higher lows and higher highs. That's what constitutes an uptrend. It's early. We got one higher low. We got one higher high, but it's still a good thing to see. These are positive developments. So long-term investors, you could have a time where you could feel reasonably comfortable that Bitcoin's at least behaving well after a 45+% decline, and a chance to buy Bitcoin when it's starting to behave better at a much lower price than it was trading at about 6 months ago. So we'll leave it there. So positive developments. Overall score of 6. It's pretty good. So if things continue, we'll get to the point where we start looking for pullbacks to add, and then that might be a score of 7. So pullbacks in an uptrend, that's the best you can get. So we're not there yet, but that would be the bullish case. The bear case would be this whole thing reverses, and that obviously could happen as well. So we'll take it for what it's worth today, and enjoy these positive developments in Bitcoin and go from there. If you'd like to talk to someone about this or have some more information, don't be shy about reaching out, talking to one of our wealth managers. I'm happy to talk with you as well. You can always follow us on our YouTube page. We also have report summaries that are available. And I believe this video and those summaries are available on the website as well. So read the disclosures. Investing's dangerous. You can lose money, but things are looking better in Bitcoin than they were. Thank you.